The story's protagonist is Honoka, who considers himself an average student. On the contrary, Ayaka is a famous girl and is welcomed by everyone at school. Other students always call her by the nickname Princess. And despite sitting right next to Ayaka in class, Honoka has never said a word to her. One time, as Honoka carelessly drops his eraser under Ayaka's desk, to his surprise, the famous Ayaka helps him pick up the eraser and softly hands it to him. For that reason, Honoka is attacked by Ayaka's fan club. Later, during Honoka's cleaning duty, a giant tower appears from nowhere in the sky and falls right at his spot. Luckily, Ayaka shows up just in time to save him from being crushed by the tower. We can tell by her appearance that Ayaka is in fact a witch. Soon after that, the two friends are attacked by two rabbit robots. Ayaka uses her fire magic to defeat the robots, while Honoka is scared like hell. But it hasn't come to an end yet. Ayaka then has to handle some more rabbit robots. Meanwhile, Honoka is being kidnapped by an army of those strange creatures. As he is about to be decapitated, Ayaka shows up and saves him again. There's still one rabbit left. Honoka decides to protect Ayaka but is quickly knocked out by the rabbit as he's just an ordinary human. Honoka wakes up and finds himself lying in Ayaka's private room at school. She brought him here after the incident. According to Ayaka, she has been protecting him silently the whole time. And the reason is that Honoka is her master. The next day onward, Ayaka sits next to Honoka on the bus, making him the target of others' hatred because he dares to mingle with their idol. And apparently, Honoka is once again bullied by the student council for the same reason. But this time is different. Ayaka shows up, rescues him from the bullies, and announces that she'll burn anyone who dares to put their finger on him. At lunchtime, Ayaka prepares lunch for Honoka. She even chopstick feeds him, which seems to create a romantic scene. In fact, Honoka is nowhere to feel good when surrounding them are a dozen eyes of hatred. Honoka then meets a cat girl named Tanpopo. She's also the one behind the rabbit robot incident yesterday, and she's back to finish her mission. Ayaka one more time managed to pull Honoka out of danger. This time, Tanpopo summons even more rabbits, and facing such a massive number of enemies, Ayaka has no choice but to cover Honoka and take all the spears for him. But she's still able to defeat the rabbits, and she shows no sign of wounds on her body. Seeing that Ayaka is undefeatable, Tanpopo quickly withdraws, not forgetting to say that she will be back. Then, Ayaka follows Honoka to his house to protect him. The next day, Tanpopo and her comrades transfer to Honoka's class. By their appearance, we can tell that they're not the good guys to be expected. Later, Honoka is terrified to see Ayaka catch 4 people from Tanpopo's group. As Honoka asks Tanpopo why she keeps following him, she responds with a perverted face that she's looking for the white thing inside his body. At this time, Mei, a member of Tanpopo's group, breaks in to save her comrades. She takes Honoka away while the others stay to fight against Ayaka to buy time for Mei. Unfortunately, Ayaka is so strong that she quickly defeats the team and takes Honoka back. Honoka acknowledges that Tanpopo and her team will not easily give up on him, so he asks Ayaka to teach him magic. They decide to meet up at the weekend for their magic training lessons. On the way home, Ayaka tells Honoka that there are 2 types of witches on Earth. The good witches that help maintain the world's safety, like Ayaka, are called the workshop witches. Vice versa, the bad witches like Tanpopo's team are called the tower witches. She adds that if the tower witches had Honoka, the world would collapse. The two then visit a shopping mall for some clothes. While waiting for Ayaka, Honoka is attacked by a tower witch with a giant sword. The witch's friend also appeared to support her and attack Ayaka, but they are easily defeated by the strong workshop witch and have to retreat immediately. Ayaka then lets Honoka know that their school is actually a workshop. Her mother, who is the school principal, is also the leader of the workshop witches. As time goes by, Ayaka helps Honoka a lot in studying, and in PE class, the couple sticks to each other, which makes Honoka receive even more and more hatred from everyone in school. While on the way home by bus, Ayaka and Honoka are approached by a tower witch named Cronoir, who then stabs Honoka in the stomach, but to his surprise, he isn't injured. But as he turns back to look at Ayaka, she collapses to the ground with her hand covering a wound on her belly. Cronoir tells Honoka that all his injuries are transferred to Ayaka's body, but in exchange, if she stays close to Honoka, she'll receive a huge power from him. It seems that their body and soul have had a tight connection for a long time. Cronoir gives him a suspicious candy and tells him to swallow it in order to unleash his true power. Ayaka uses all of her last energy to attack Crow-Noir, as she doesn't want Honoka to take the candy. After that, Ayaka borrows the power inside Honoka to boost her own power and manages to defeat Crow-Noir with only one strike. But Crow-Noir just temporarily vanishes, not dead yet. Ayaka falls into a coma because of her belly wound. Honoka still keeps the candy and places it in his drawer in case he might need it in the future. The next day, the two go to the school sports hall for their first training lesson. Of course, our little Honoka can't concentrate well when the two keep touching each other like this. It's PE class time, and many students come to the sports hall, but thanks to their cloaks, Honoka and Ayaka appear invisible in front of everyone. Ayaka takes him for a ride on her broom around the city, and guides him on how to control it. Seeing a little girl being bullied by other girls, Honoka attempts to control the broom, hoping to save the little girl from the bullies. But as things turn out, he's now the victim of those girls, and Ayaka has to show herself and save him one more time. Tanpopo's team is at the cafe discussing how to win against Ayaka when Crow-Noir steps in. She takes the group to a secret base and tells them a strategy to defeat Ayaka. This is Kasumi, Honoka's younger sister. She's so pissed to know that her brother is dating the school's princess, so she keeps following him to watch him out. Today, on the way to school, Honoka is ambushed by Tanpopo and her rabbits. Meanwhile, her comrades are surrounding Ayaka in another place, as they know that Ayaka will lose part of her power if she doesn't stay close to Honoka. Thinking that she has succeeded in capturing Honoka, Tanpopo is shocked to see a giant teddy bear approaching her, wanting to take him back. And the one to control it is none other than Kasumi. Turns out she's also a workshop witch. Tanpopo quickly summons a giant rabbit to fight against her. During the severe fight, Tanpopo's comrades also summon their animals to support her, but those guys aren't a match for Kasumi. She turns her teddy bear bigger and bigger to a size that Tanpopo and the other animals look no more than ants compared to it. After a stomp of Kasumi's bear, the whole city collapses. Seeing that they're losing to Kasumi, Tanpopo and her team immediately retreat. Eventually, Ayaka and Honoka reunite in joy. As the couple is in a romantic mood, Kasumi gets in their way, telling them to stop making such a cringe. After today's incident, Ayaka is even more worried for Honoka, so she suggests he stay at her house for his better safety. Honoka's mother also agrees with Ayaka's offer. She even kindly asks Ayaka to take care of her son. Now that it seems to be the time, Honoka's mother tells him that Ayaka is actually his fiancée. Things happened a long time ago when Ayaka and Honoka's mother were in high school. They were close friends, so they decided to arrange a marriage for their kids. But our little Kasumi strongly objects to this news. Honoka then takes a lift in Ayaka's luxurious car to her mansion with countless floors. Right when the couple steps into Ayaka's room, they are greeted by the Tower Witch Medusa. Ayaka tells Honoka to run while she stays to buy time for him. But not long after that, Ayaka is defeated and turns into a marble statue due to Medusa's magic. Honoka does everything he can to get her back to life, but all seems to be useless. Having no other choice, Honoka decides to swallow the candy that Crow-Noir gave him earlier to unleash his power. Immediately after Honoka swallows the candy, a woman with long white hair shows up. She is the White Princess, who is also the white thing that Tanpopo's group is looking for. The White Princess only needs to wipe her hand so that she can blow away Medusa. While Ayaka's mother is standing in a nearby building, appreciating her mansion, it explodes in front of her eyes. According to the White Princess, she's sealed inside Honoka's body, and the candy that he swallowed helped partly break the seal. She also adds that Honoka and Ayaka have an invisible romantic connection, so he only needs to give her his love in order to boost her power. After explaining everything to Honoka, the White Princess disappears. Medusa also turns back to continue the fight. Honoka kisses Ayaka on her cheek, and indeed, thanks to his love for Ayaka, Medusa's magic spell on her is quickly deactivated. Tanpopo's team once again appears to support Medusa, but they're soon blown away by Ayaka's one strike. Then Ayaka, while carrying Honoka, fights both Medusa and Tanpopo's team. With her loved one beside her, Ayaka is undefeatable. Although Medusa and the others have lost under her, Ayaka decides to give them a way to live with one condition. They have to listen to her orders. Ayaka's mother commands all the workshop witches to hunt for Medusa. Ayaka's mansion also becomes a ruin after the incident, so she asks Honoka if she can stay at his house for a while. Kasumi is happy to know that her brother came back home safely, but as she opens his room's door, an awkward scene is shown right in front of her eyes. Today, the student council's president is holding an urgent meeting on how Honoka always mingles with Ayaka, and she orders everyone to find ways to separate the two. Ayaka realizes the president's plan, so she decides to make it one step in advance. As Ayaka's power at school is only lower than the school principal's, who is apparently her mother, she easily fires the current student council president and promotes Honoka for this position. Meanwhile, Tanpopo's team is hiding at Honoka's house. It was Ayaka who told them to stay here so that her mother wouldn't find them out. The team, in fact, has the plan to kidnap Honoka while he's sleeping. But what they didn't expect is that despite the late night, Ayaka stays beside Honoka's bed to watch him out, as she actually stays up until morning. Ayaka prepares breakfast for Honoka. After the two finish their meals, they wash the dishes together, just like a real married couple. When Ayaka and Honoka's mother come back to his house after going shopping, they see Tanpopo's team in the house. Ayaka's mother quickly transforms, aiming to capture the team, but Ayaka also puts on her witch dress and stands against her mother. Ayaka fuses with Medusa and is ready to fight the Supreme Workshop Witch, but she's so strong that she easily defeats the two. After that, Ayaka and Honoka are put into jail at the workshop, and Medusa is handed over to the Witch Council in another city. Ayaka tells Honoka that she'll be stronger if their love grows bigger, so she wants him to help her with that. Honoka thought he had to kiss her in order to boost her power, but it turns out that what she wants to do is clean his ears. After her power is boosted, Ayaka is powerful enough to bend the jail's bars. Her mother shows up, admonishing her for her destructive act. Ayaka wants to challenge her mother in exchange for their freedom, but she rejects her. Actually, Medusa has been captured, so she doesn't care about keeping the two in jail anymore. The next day, Kasumi is shocked when her mother allows Tanpopo's group to mess around at their house. Not over yet, she also accidentally witnesses her brother and Ayaka role-playing the doctor and patient. What an annoying way to start the day for her. A Taro witch named Weekend is having an appointment with Ayaka's mother. Weekend learns that Ayaka's mother has signed a contract with this city, which means that the city can absorb her power to self-restore. It also explains why, despite being under so many severe fights between the witches, the city still remains unharmed, and no one has ever been hurt or wounded. Weekend has set up a series of explosions all over the city, and Ayaka's mother quickly runs out of power as the city is being extremely destroyed. The Taro Witch then captures Ayaka's mother, and her aim is to get the White Princess inside Honoko's body. Meanwhile, the city is in chaos after the explosions. Ayaka takes Honoka to a city workshop that is managed by Rinon. He also finds out that Rinon was Kasumi's master of magic. But suddenly, Rinon and the other workshop witches constantly shoot Honoka. And the one taking all the bullets is indeed Ayaka, as his wounds are hers anyway. Actually, Rinon only gives Ayaka some sleeping pills so she can easily take her and Honoka to a secret room hidden under the place. Although the two know that Weekend is flipping every corner looking for Honoka, they still decide to find a way out of this hidden room. Ayaka takes Honoka to a place where he can sign a contract with this city. According to her, after signing the contract, Honoka can help the city restore. Weekend has foreseen this and commands a Tower Witch named Gibraltar to ambush the two. The Tower Witch summons a golem to attack them, but Ayaka managed to knock her out with one simple kick. It turns out Ayaka used to be trained to fight monsters with bare hands, so her physical strength is also at an advanced level. The couple then reach the heart of the city to ask for a contract. After a while of magic rites, Honoka eventually signs the contract. On the way out, he passes out due to his energy drain. In his dream, he meets his teacher, who is also the manager of a workshop. The teacher shows Honoka the souls of everyone in this city, which have turned into stars after their deaths. But they will turn back as before once the city is restored. Meanwhile, Kasumi and Tanpopo's group are planning to break into Weekend's base. On the way, they face one of her underlings, who then summons a teddy bear just like the one of Kasumi, apart from the fact that it is dark color. The two teddy bears have an inconclusive battle. None of them seem to have advantage over the other. However, there's one moment when Kasumi is caught off guard, and the black bear immediately takes advantage of this to knock her out completely. As Kasumi's life is hung by a single hair, Medusa shows up and turns the Weekend's underling as well as his bear into marble. Medusa is disappointed by how useless Tanpopo's group is, so she decides to take them for further training. On the other hand, Ayaka is meeting Weekend alone and challenges her to a fight. Right when she sees Weekend, she immediately pulls out her sword and runs towards the Tower Witch, but she's quickly injured by Weekend's bombs. Thinking that she has defeated Ayaka, Weekend comes close to her with pride on her face, not knowing that Ayaka at this point issues fire magic to burn the evil witch down. In fact, before going to see Weekend, Ayaka had borrowed some power from Honoka. But the Tower Witch has the ability to heal instantly, and she then summons some monsters to capture Ayaka. Knowing Ayaka is in danger, Honoka rides the broom to look for her. But as he reaches the place, his lover is badly wounded. So he immediately transfers parts of his White Prince's power to Ayaka. Thanks to the tremendous power of the princess, Ayaka eventually defeats Weekend. After that, White Princess takes Honoka to her place. She offers to help him save the city as long as he gives her his own precious life. Under such a fatal offer, Honoka still decides to receive the princess's power. Very quickly after that, the city turns back to what it has ever been. Ayaka doesn't want to see her lover die, so she asks the princess to take her life instead. The princess agrees, and Ayaka immediately collapses in front of Honoka. As Weekend is going out to continue her plan, she meets Cronoir, who then knocks her out and captures all of her underlings. Honoka is in grief to see his girlfriend die for him. Other workshop witches tell him a ritual that can help revive the dead. He follows all the steps that they ask him to do, and the last step is to give Ayaka a kiss. But Honoka is so shy that he eventually kisses her on her forehead. Ayaka wakes up after the kiss, looking at her boyfriend, who is drowning in joy. It turns out Ayaka just passed out because of an energy drain. The White Princess didn't take her life, as she never lent Honoka her power. All of what happened to the city was thanks to Honoka's power. The next morning, Honoka wakes up and feels so blissful when he sees Ayaka as usual. Everyone now can enjoy their normal, peaceful life. And that is it for today's anime summary. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And as usual, please follow for more anime summaries in the future. Take care and have a good time, everyone.